says around 130 years ago that the first car was invented, giving humanity the opportunity to travel distances without the need of a horse. The design of the car remained mostly the same, even though they did improve a lot of things such as performance, style, and comfort. Regardless the success of the car still has one fundamental flaw. It produces smoke. Once the engine starts, the car does produce smoke. We tend to believe that if we don't see the smoke or we don't smell it, that the car is clean. However, this is far from the truth. The fumes and gases coming out of the car are not clean. They are polluted, and they have negative impact on the environment and on our health. It seems like when they first designed the car, they literally has put the problem behind, as you can see on the picture. So what is smoke? Talk about smoke. What is smoke? For combustion to take place, you will need three components. You will need oxygen, you will need fuel, and a heat source. In a perfect combustion, it produces water vapor and carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide. That's the same greenhouse gases responsible for global warming. If the combustion is not perfect, it's even worse. It produces dangerous poisonous gas such as carbon monoxide. Yes, the combustion needs oxygen. But how does it get the oxygen? The motor pushes air to the combustion chamber. Air consists of 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. Nitrogen is not required for the combustion to take place. However, in the combustion chamber, it gets so hot that nitrogen oxidizes with oxygen. Nitrogen reacts with oxygen, produces NOx gases. NOx gases is the main polluter in smoke areas in big cities. 2 weeks ago, there was a TED presentation given by Dr. Araya that talked about big pollutions in big cities. If you're driving a car alone in a remote area, this is not such a big problem. However, if you drive nowadays that so many cars on the roads, then it looks like the leave it behind problem became everybody's problem. It seems like that if the car manufacturer were responsible by designing the car fair, they should have put the tailpipe in the front. They should have put the problem in the front. I think if that was the case, we would have solved this problem of the car years ago already and move into sustainable vehicles. Now, enough about problems. Let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about electric vehicles. The main advantage of electric vehicles are, I think it doesn't emit anything. Hence the name zero emission vehicle. It doesn't produce smoke. It doesn't have a tailpipe. Other advantages of electric vehicles are they're very efficient and you can charge them with renewable sources. Yes, you can have a 2 kilowatt solar system installed at your home that can produce enough energy to give you 50 kilometers per day. Aruba is one of the leaders in electric vehicle per capita. We already reached more or less 400 vehicles for a population of 100,000 inhabitants. However, in Aruba, not even in the Caribbean, we don't have car manufacture facilities. We don't produce cars. We need to import cars. We could have chosen a market such as US or the Europes explicitly to bring our cars here. However, we are free to import cars from everywhere. That brings a problem of standardization. All those cars have different ports for their markets. But before we go into standardization and charging stations, let's remember that the part of the success of the conventional cars are one fuel fits all. Diesel, gasoline / petrol is all needed around the world to supply the whole transport industry with energy. To just give an idea of all the connectors available today, if we look at the US market on the left, you can see that if you have a car there and you want to charge it on the charging station, you will need a J1772 connector, type 1. And if you want to fast charge it, you will need a combo 1 connector or the CCS1. And if you want another car, or if there's another car in Europe, you will need another connectors. Tesla did come with their proprietary connectors. And if you want to charge a Tesla and at a normal charging station, you will need to use adapters. So you already see the problem of standardization. Here in the Caribbean, here on Aruba, we have cars with all of these connectors. If we look and learn from the electronic and device industry, they had the same problem with standardization. For a brand-specific device, this is a gold mine because you will need specific cables with specific adapters to charge for the devices, for communication. However, for the consumer side, it is a nightmare. It is still in our mind, fresh in our mind of how many adapters that you need to carry on to power up your cell phones, your cameras, gaming devices, laptops, and so on. So it was a nightmare with all these adapters. That's why the European Commission, which is the executive arm of the United Nations, did propose a mandate to standardize these connectors. They proposed to use USBC connector. USBC is a friendly connector that you can either plug it upside down, it has no orientation, and you can use it for both communication and for power supply. This means that the device manufacturers will have only 2 years to replace all their ports to USB-C. Actually, the idea of doing this is to reduce electronic waste, and for the end consumers, it will benefit because you will need only one adapter, one cable that can supply power or communication to all of your devices. So a bold mandate of the UN to save the planet and that brings benefit for the end consumer. For the electric cars, we need to do the same. We're still working with adapters and cables. However, in Europe, they did start with standardization of charging stations. They have a universal charger. It has no cable attached to it. And the cable from the charger to the specific car, a specific electric vehicle, does the conversion. So if you have a US or from Japan, South Korea, Europe, they all have these special connectors. But on the other side, on the charger, they all have the same. So they all can use the same charger for different cars. I think that's a very good move. And for Aruba and for the Caribbean, this is also something that we need to do. Have a universal charger for different cars, because here we do have a lot of different cars riding on the island. The presentation of today are about ideas we're spreading, but it is also about action we're taking. In our case, our company that sells charging stations, sometimes you won't find an adapter that you're looking for. So the basic rule is, if you can't find it, you have to create it or make it. So 3 years ago, we bought a 3D printer and we went to several 3D modeling courses and learned about materials to make our products, to make new products. However, 3D printing just gives you the tool to make the connector or the casing. For the electrical part, you need to know about standards, electricity, electronics to make the circuitry. Because only when it's done right, the charger will communicate with the adapter to give permissions to allow energy to flow to the vehicle. So on the right here, you can see an adapter that we did at our company. We believe that charging station is not only intended for electric cars, but it has a broader range, could be used for a broader range to charge electric golf carts, scooters, electric boats, and electric step scooters. That is exactly what we did. We made an adapter to charge an electric step scooter to a electric car charging station. So in the meantime, what we are waiting for the UN to propose another mandate to standardize charging cables for electric vehicles, the electric vehicle industry is growing exponentially. Many car manufacturers have now electric vehicles in their fleet, so there are a lot of options. So the time is now. It is finally the time is now to switch to electric vehicles and to turn off the smoke. Thank you very much.